So, I'm writing this post on what supply chain is and trying to explain how modern society would collapse without supply chain. Supply chain is what helps modern society function. Like, it affects everything on every single level: food, widgets, medicine, anything you can think of, everything. The computer sitting right in front of you is all supply chain. And I cannot stress enough how interconnected everything is. You think it's made in a certain country, but it's not. There's all the components of that item, that thing, is made all over the world. And it's assembled in certain areas or, a country here or there, but it's all literally all over the world. The minerals and ores used to mine and create the parts or the chips, like thinking of your computer in front of you, the chips, the plastic, it's got to be made somewhere. The LED component, it's got to be made somewhere. The keys on your keyboard, it's got to be made somewhere. Your mouse, it's made somewhere. The cords on your laptop are made somewhere. And that is all interconnected and sold into a package. And it's all supply chain. It's all people working together to get you this product. When people think of factories, they think of 1950s factories where everything's contained in one building. But in modern society, that is not the case anymore at all. There's no way on God's green earth that America can create everything for one product in one country and still have it be affordable to the consumer. It's impossible. It is impossible. I cannot stress enough how impossible it is. We utilize cheap labor overseas. We utilize the ores overseas. We ship everything here to assemble. Or it's assembled overseas because it's cheaper, and then we just ship it here. Like, it's not possible to contain everything in America. And I want to read a section of my favorite author, Terry Pratchett's Discworld. I've reblogged it previously, but it bears repeating because cities are not just cities. Civilization is not just people living here or there. The entire thing is a process. It's a machine. Everything has to work correctly in order to people live safely or have products to live in their homes, have a home, have food on the table, have medicine in the hospitals. Everything is a process. So I'm going to try and read this for you. The story takes place in a fictional fantasy world called Ankh-Morpork. And the important thing is the thoughts he laid out here. Every day, maybe 100 cows died for Ankh-Morpork. So did a flock of sheep and a herd of pigs, and the gods alone knew how many ducks, chickens, and geese. Flour? He'd heard it was 80 tons, and about the same amount of potatoes, and maybe 20 tons of herring. He didn't particularly want to know this kind of thing, but once you start having to sort out the everlasting traffic problem, these are the kind of things or facts that got handed to you. Every day, 40,000 eggs were laid for the city. Every day, hundreds, thousands of carts and boats and barges converged on the city with fish and honey and oysters and olives and eels and lobsters. And then think of the horses dragging this stuff, and the windmills and the wool coming in. Every day, the cloth, the tobacco, the spices, the ore, the timber, the cheese, the coal, the fat, the tallow, the hay. Every damn day. That was now back home when the city was twice as big. And against the dark screen of night, Vines had a vision of Ankh-Morpork. It wasn't a city, it was a process. A weight on the world that distorted the land for hundreds of miles around. People who never see it their whole life, nevertheless spent their life working for it, Thousands and thousands of green acres were part of it. Forests were part of it. It drew in and consumed. And it gave back the dung from the pens, the soot from its chimneys, and steel and saucepans, and the tools by which its food was made, and also clothes and fashion and ideas and interesting vices, songs and knowledge, and something which, looked at in the right light, was called civilization. That was what civilization meant. It meant the city. Was anyone else out there thinking about this? A lot of stuff came through the Onion Gate and the Shambling Gate, both now Republican and solidly locked. There'd be a military picket on them, surely. Right now there were carts on the way that'd find those gates closed to them. Yet no matter what the politics, eggs hatch, milk sours, and herds of driven animals need penning and watering. And where was that going to happen? Would the military sort it out? Well, would they? While the carts rumbled up and then were hemmed in by the carts behind, and the pigs escaped and the cattle herds wandered off. Was anyone important thinking about this? Suddenly the machine was wobbling, but Winder and his cronies didn't think about the machine, they thought about the money. Meat and drink came from servants. They happened. Veterinary, Vines realized, thought about this sort of thing all the time. The Ankh-Morpork back home was twice as big and 4 times as vulnerable. He wouldn't have let something like this happen. Little wheels must spin so that the machine can turn, he'd say. But now, in the dark, it all spun on Vines. If the man breaks down, it all breaks down, he thought. The whole machine breaks down, and it goes on breaking down, and it breaks down the people. And that is supply chain. The supply chain is how civilization works. It bends the world around them so that civilization can work. It bends the world around them so that you can have goods in your store, so you can have food and meat and products and widgets and clothes and fashion. Anything you can dream of, supply chain happens so you can have that in your hands. And when people interrupt supply chain, they don't realize how interconnected everything is. It's all connected. And when one thing breaks down, it all breaks down.